Tony Stark started with the Iron Man Mark I armor, which of course turned into the Mark II, then the Mark III, and so on until we got the house party protocol of the final Iron Man movie. So as both a guitarist and a Marvel fan, why does the 9th episode of this series feature the second version of the Richie Sambora Signature Stratocaster when I haven't even done an episode about his first custom Strat yet? Well, because that's what you asked for. Also, I don't own the Series 1 Sambora Stratocaster anymore. I'm Thom Tran, and I'm going in-depth into my guitar collection and that of my friends to give you the story, both historic and personal, about these rare and special instruments and how they got into our hands. This is the story behind the strings. This is my 2002 Fender Richie Sambora Series 2 Signature Stratocaster in vintage white, assembled and completed in April of that year. Now, as I mentioned at the top, I'm doing this episode because you, my viewers, have overwhelmingly told me in the comments that you wanted more info about the Sambora Signature Series guitars. I had planned on doing this episode later, but I'm giving the people what they want. And if you want an episode about another guitar, let me know in the comments below, because clearly it works. Oh, and stick around until the end of this video because I have a very, very, very special episode coming up, and you'll get a glimpse of it at the end of this episode. So let's start with the specs. Like the Series 1 Sambora Stratocaster, the Series 2 was the only other USA-made version of Richie's signature Fender Strat. The other models were either made in Mexico or in Japan. The Series 2 Sambora guitar has an alder body with a polyurethane finish and an aged white 3-ply pickguard. The pickup covers, switch tip, and tremolo tip are all aged white color as well. And the body came in 3 colors: this vintage white, a Fiesta red, and a 3-color burst. It's got a maple neck with a custom soft V-shape, 22 frets, and a 25.5-inch scale. The fingerboard is made of maple with a 9.5-inch fingerboard radius, and it's got a 4-bolt contoured heel. The inlays are small star-shaped markers, setting it apart from the Series 1 and black paisley versions, which have the larger star inlays. The headstock is a smaller post-70s era headstock, and the tuners are Fender Goto staggered vintage-style tuning machines. It's got a wing-style string tree with a spaghetti Fender logo, and unlike the other Sambora Strats, Richie's signature is on the back of the headstock, not on the front. Another change from the USA-made and other models, the Series 2 Sambora Stratocaster has a vintage synchronized tremolo instead of the Floyd Rose-style trim. Also making it different from the previous Richie Sambora Strat models, the Series 2 has 3 single-coil, hot noiseless Strat pickups instead of the humbucker single-coil configuration of the other models. Fun fact, Hot Noiseless was your mom's nickname in high school. Another change is that the Series 2 has a 12 decibel active mid-boost switch that gives it a little oomph. And because of that button, you've got one master volume knob, one master tone, but also a 12 decibel boost control, which only works when the boost is active. The American-made Series 1 had a 25 decibel boost button. And to control it all, it's got a 5-way pickup selector switch. Now, someone asked me about the 12 decibel MDX, or mid-boost expander button, in the comments of an earlier video. And it does exactly what the name says. It gives you a little 12 decibel boost to your signal without needing a pedal or to turn up the gain on the amp. Now, it's not a secret that Richie Sambora was highly influenced by Eric Clapton. Slowhand even played on Sambora's solo album, Stranger in This Town. And that boost button is sometimes referred to as the Clapton circuit because it was first included on the Fender Eric Clapton Signature Stratocaster, the first American signature Strat that Fender ever released in 1988, along with Yngwie Malmsteen's signature model. But Clapton's boost was a 25 decibel boost, not 12 decibels, and instead of a button, Clapton just controlled the circuit with one of the tone knobs. Now, the 12 decibel boost on the Sambora Series 2 Strat requires a 9-volt battery, which is installed in the rear cavity near the tremolo springs. Hey everybody, Thom here from the future. 2 things. Yes, my shirt does say I give love a bad name. And secondly, I realized that I did not give an example of the 12 decibel MDX boost button and what it sounds like when it's engaged versus when it's disengaged. So we're going to do a very quick demo. First thing you need to know is when the button is pushed in, it's disengaged. When it's out, it's engaged. And when it's pushed in, this tone knob, or the MDX control, does nothing. It only works when the button is engaged. So let's give it a demo. Middle position, very quickly. This is what it sounds like with the button disengaged. And this is what it sounds like with the button engaged and the tone knob up. So there it is, a very quick demo of the 12 decibel MDX boost button on the Richie Sambora Series 2 American Signature Stratocaster. Back to the video. The Series 2 Richie Sambora Signature Stratocaster was introduced in July 1999, replacing the previous model, and was available until January 2003 when it was discontinued. According to Fender, the Series 2 Richie Sambora Strat had an MSRP of $1,899.99, so essentially $1,900. So let's just say with taxes, etc., about $2 grand. So with 20 plus years of inflation, that equals about $3,600 US in 2023. Now, if you're a collector or you really just want to rock some Bon Jovi tunes with this sexy axe, the Series 2 Sambora Stratocaster seems to be more rare than the Series 1. There were 4 available on Reverb and 1 at a Guitar Center in New York at the time of this recording, and the prices ranged from $3,800 to $7,600. Now, are you ready for your head to hurt? Because mine did while I was writing this script. So the Series 2 Sambora Strat is actually the 5th in the line of Richie's signature guitars. Now, if we go according to years of release, it goes like this. The Series 1 Richie Sambora Signature Strat was released in 1993, followed by the slightly more affordable Mexican-made version in 1994. Then in 1996, the Black Paisley Signature Strat was released in a limited number, which I did a video on when I started this show. The link to that is up here somewhere. The same year, the Japanese Domestic Craft Premium Series was released, and I'll be doing a whole separate video on those. And then finally, the Series 2 Sambora Stratocaster, this guitar, was released in 1999. So to recap, it goes like this. The Series 1, the Mexican-made, the Black Paisley, the Japanese Craft Domestic Premium model, then the Series 2. Now, as for why the Series 2 Sambora Stratocaster was made with those changes, there's no real info about that. I haven't seen or read any interviews with Richie about the changes. I'm assuming it was a refresh to the line, like when Hasbro thought it would be cool to kill Optimus Prime in the 1986 animated Transformers movie to bring in that bitch Hot Rod. I said what I said. But let me posit a theory. Richie and his shredding contemporaries ruled the 1980s when dive bombs and Floyd Rose tremolos were all over the radio. It was slippery when wet all the time. But the first Sambora Signature Stratocaster was released in 1993, just as the music industry was moving from shred metal to grunge. Now, Nirvana basically changed the genre in 1991 with their hit Smells Like Teen Spirit, and for the rest of the decade, there weren't a lot of flashy guitar solos and pinch harmonics. And if you don't need a Floyd Rose tremolo, why would you suffer through the pains required to set one up correctly? There are a lot of you who feel very strongly about Floyd Rose style trems, and I've said it myself. Once I stopped needing one, I stopped wanting them on my guitars. I went from an Ibanez PGM 300 with a low pro edge tremolo to the PGM 301, which had a Godot GTC 101 fixed bridge. And by the time the Series 2 Sambora Strat was released in 1999, I'm sure Richie needed a change too. So why not switch out that Floyd Rose for a traditional bridge and the humbucker for 3 single coils? It makes it a lot easier to maintain and to tune. But that is just my theory. If you have any information to the contrary, please leave it in the comments below. Now, this is the 3rd video in this series that I've made about a Richie Sambora guitar. Needless to say, he's one of the biggest influences in my musical vocabulary, up there with Prince and Eddie Van Halen. You can watch the videos about the Black Paisley Strat and the Ovation Double Neck for the other 2 stories behind those strings. But like I just mentioned, there came a time when I just didn't need a Floyd Rose trem on every guitar I brought to a gig. But if I loved an instrument, I wanted to use the non-Floyd Rose style version. Just like the Ibanez PGM series, I switched from the Series 1 Sambora Strat with the Floyd Rose to the Series 2 with the vintage synchronized tremolo. It was just a matter of finding one. And like I said earlier, they're pretty rare. But in February of 2017, this vintage white 2002 model popped up on Reverb. Now, I had just bought another guitar for Christmas, but this showed up literally 2 weeks before my birthday in February. So in my head, that was the universe saying, hey man, this is for you. That's how I rationalized it. That's how I justified it, and I don't like the judgment I'm getting from you right now. There it is, by popular demand, that's the story behind the strings of my Series 2 Fender Richie Sambora Signature American Stratocaster. That is a lot of words, so to whoever created that naming convention, who hurt you? I hope you liked the episode. Thanks to everyone that requested it. I've gotten lots of requests to do an episode about the Cherry Burst Series 1 Sambora model, so I'm going to try to get my hands on that just to do the video. It's more likely that I'll get a Mexican-made version first though, but if you have a Series 1 that I can use for an episode, please hit me up. Again, which is your favorite Sambora model, even if it's the Kramer or the Ovation? Let me know in the comments below. And now, for everyone that stuck around, like I said earlier, I have a very, very, very special episode planned for Halloween, and I am so excited to drop it. So as I promised, here's a little tease for you. As always, thanks for watching. Please like the video and subscribe to the channel and click the bell icon to be notified when I drop a new episode. And please tell your friends about it. I'm trying to get to 10,000 subscribers, which is a long way off, but I want to get there before my birthday in February. It's free and it's easy, but if you want to support the show and you have the means to do so, you can join the Patreon and become a roadie, a guitar tech, or a hired gun. You'll get cool swag, exclusive access, and you can suggest a guitar for me to go behind the strings of. Please follow me on all the places, including Facebook, Instagram, Threads, and TikTok. And like everyone else on the planet, I've got a podcast called The Scary Funny Show, which is stand-up comedians talking about haunted or spooky stuff. It's available at all the podcast places. My stand-up comedy dates are on my website, ThomTran.com. I'll be in Florida the week of Veterans Day this year, doing a lot of shows, and then I'll be opening for my buddy Brad Williams in Winnipeg and Calgary, Canada, towards the end of November. I'm working on a new musical comedy album, so if you want info on that, check out the website, ThomTran.com. Links to everything are in the show notes. As always, thanks for watching, and let the strings tell your story. It's got a wing-style spring street. It's got a wing-style strings.